In the riveting narrative of Django Unchained, one character emerges as a masterclass in manipulation and layered loyalty, Stephen. As we embark on this journey into the depths of his character, we'll explore the complex web of authenticity that shrouds him and then delve into every facet of his persona. Before we dive into the enigma that is Stephen, it's essential to understand the historical context that shaped him. House slaves, a distinct subset of the enslaved population, straddled the complex divide between servitude and privilege. Stephen's role as Calvin's trusted confidant puts him squarely in this category, where truth and deception intersected. House slaves lived in comparative luxury, enjoying better living conditions than their counterparts in the fields. However, it's important to remember that these comforts were merely shadows cast upon the backdrop of a brutal and dehumanizing system. Their tasks, though seemingly less arduous, were still toil under the weight of servitude, perpetually at the beck and call of their masters. Stephen's relationship with his fellow slaves was a study in complexity. His favored position in the household often earned him the ire of field slaves who perceived him as privileged, stuck up, and even traitorous. Yet, the narrative isn't a binary one. Nuances blurred the lines. Just as people today possess a spectrum of beliefs and behaviors, so too did house slaves. Stephen's character is a prism through which we see the diverse range of experiences and attitudes that existed within this intricate social dynamic. His position as Calvin's confidant meant he occupied a place of privilege, but it also painted a target on his back. This conflict and contradiction set the stage for his multifaceted personality. Delving into Stephen's background opens a portal into his intriguing origins. Born in Candy Land or drawn into its fold at a young age, Stephen's path to the house wasn't a straightforward one. The circumstances that led him there, whether born into a lineage of house slaves or strategically positioning himself, remain a tantalizing mystery. His intelligence, a tool as lethal as any weapon, drove his ascent to Calvin's right hand. Stephen's grasp of power dynamics extended far beyond his servile role. He understood the subtle art of subservience and manipulation, using them to etch his place in Calvin's life, possibly from the moment Calvin was a young child. Stephen's relationship with Calvin isn't merely a facade, it's a twisted blend of mentorship and friendship. In a world where slaves were as much a part of the master's family as the bloodline, Stephen's role was particularly complex. The film doesn't explicitly clarify whether their relationship is authentic, but it raises the question of whether such a bond can truly exist within the constraints of power dynamics. Stephen, possibly driven by genuine attachment, nurtured and guided Calvin through life's labyrinthine pathways. However, the chilling undercurrent remains. Did he genuinely care, or was this yet another layer of manipulation? Stephen's most compelling attribute lies in his ability to wear different masks. In the presence of Calvin, he's a jester, a confidant who expertly navigates the line between jest and subservience. This dual identity conceals a darker side, one where his status as a feared overseer reigns. It's in this dichotomy that Stephen's true nature emerges, a man who can banter with his master one moment and order the brutal punishment of his fellow slaves the next. His masks are tailored for each role he plays, making him an enigma even to himself. Stephen's intellect sets him apart from Calvin, a man ensconced in privilege. While Calvin luxuriates in excess, Stephen's years in the shadows forge an intellect that surpasses his master's. He's not an idle observer, he's a silent participant in conversations, absorbing knowledge through sheer desire to transcend his station. His self-education encompasses the family library, the overheard conversations of the educated, and a lifetime of astute observation. Stephen's wisdom is born from experience, a stark contrast to Calvin's inherited riches. Stephen's multifaceted loyalty reveals itself as both genuine affection and sinister devotion. His tears at Calvin's death aren't a ruse, they emanate from a genuine connection forged over years of mentorship, companionship, and manipulation. But love, when filtered through the prism of power, transforms into something darker. Django's arrival on the scene dismantles the equilibrium Stephen meticulously constructed. Hatred, driven by a profound disruption of his world, fuels his antagonism toward Django. It's in this conflict that we witness Stephen's transformation from loyal friend to vengeful adversary. As the film crescendos, Stephen's sadistic nature emerges. His joy at the prospect of Django's torment at the mining company showcases a dark, twisted delight in inflicting pain. Stephen's gleeful anticipation and casual discussion of Candyland's barbaric acts underscore his role as an accomplice in this vicious system. His position might be one of servitude, but his actions are those of an oppressor, a stark reminder that power dynamics are often more complex than they seem. Stephen's physical transformation near the film's climax completes his evolution from manipulator to an embodiment of his own deception. The discarded cane symbolizes the final cast-off of pretense, revealing a man who's willing to go to great lengths to secure his place in the master's good graces. His unwavering defiance in the face of death underscores his commitment to the twisted ideologies he has embraced, leaving us with a haunting image of a man consumed by his own constructed identity. In Stephen, Django Unchained presents a character whose complexity transcends the limits of hero and villain. His duality, a mixture of friendship and manipulation, intelligence and brutality, loyalty and sadism, showcases the intricate tapestry woven by power, privilege, and human nature. As the curtain falls on Stephen's story, we're left with a chilling reminder that within the most unexpected souls, a terrifying potential for evil can flourish.